Hey gang, Platt here, back with another homebrew tasting video. This is where I taste the brews that I make in various videos, whether it's the 1 gallon brewing series, will it ferment, what have you. This is where we try and see if we actually made something tasty. I've got 3 candidates here today. I have a milk stout, a Scotch ale, and then what I called my poor man's ice wine, or a little experiment I did. Let's start off with our milk stout. We brewed this back in early November. Our projected ABV was 4.6. We only came in around 4.0. Is because we were off a couple points on our final gravity. We projected at 1022. We came in at 1026. In range though, we're still at 4%, which is about right for this style. So let's go ahead and jump into our milk stout. All right, a little hiss, a little pop there, so we got some carbonation. All right, not much head, but this is not a highly carbonated style beer. Just plain those nice dark malty notes. Hops is not a real big player on this style of beer. I don't get any funky yeast esters, so this is looking like stereotypical for the style. Let's go ahead and jump in. All right, plenty of those dark notes. It does get into the espresso in. A lot of times with these milk stouts, because of the term milk, and I do want to say the term milk is we add lactose sugar in here. It's not actual milk in here. And lactose sugar does not ferment. And so that sweetness carries over. But when you use the term milk stout, people's mind goes somewhere else, and they think more milk chocolate, kind of thing. But this is a kind of the darker chocolate notes on this. There is some of that residual sweetness from the lactose, even though I wouldn't say this is a sweet beer. And it does play in contrast with those kind of more astringent espresso coffee notes. Like I said, this is not a milk chocolate flavor. This is more of a cacao. And again, those kind of coffee notes. That being said, real nice. I like these styles of beer. I'm going to have to play with the lactose more. This is not quite as creamy as I was hoping it would be. I do get that residual sweetness left over. And again, it plays well with those really darker notes that you get in stouts. But this comes off to me as just a little... a slightly sweeter, dry stout, I guess the way to put it. Not bad, though. And I'll definitely brew this style again, because I kind of want to, once I get the sweetener, kind of nail what I'm going to as far as kind of more of a milk chocolate flavor to it, then I want to start playing around with things like marshmallow milk stout, stuff like that. Great little style. Definitely going to have to brew this again. I think it turned out decent, but nothing great. All right, next up, I'll go ahead and rotate this out. Next up is our Scotch ale. Probably the highest ABV beer I brewed so far in the 1 gallon beer series. Most of our stuff's been around the 5 range. This one projected at 7.9. We came in at 7.6, and that's because we missed our top end numbers, our original gravity. We projected at 1086, came in at 1078. We weren't far off, but we missed a little bit, and that's why we ended up at only 7.6% ABV. I've talked about this before. I've pretty much used brew, since we're doing all grain in 1 gallon, and I always try to do stuff easier. I've gone to the brew in the bag method. You do lose some efficiency when you utilize that method. That being said, if you're new to home brewing, it just makes your life easier. And again, these numbers, if your beer's 5.2 or 5.4, is it that, big a difference, what have you. But anyway, Scotch ales, I love these. These are classic, big, beers from the British Isles. They got a little more oomph than your standard pub beer. So let's jump in and give this a try. I also brewed this in November too, so it's been a few months now. Carbonation didn't come in so great. Let's go on the nose. This, I do pick up some of the esters from the yeast. Typical, more of a caramel toffee style malts. Maybe hard to pick up in the camera, but this is more of a darker brown, darker copper color. Definitely contrasting to the stout we had. Let's go ahead and dive in. That being said, that is a nice little bit of maltiness. Just, I wish I'd had a little more carbonation on that, and maybe that's a separate video I need to do one of these days on carbonation. Not just for you guys, but for myself also. I think a little bit more carbonation would help that out, but man, what a nice body. It's a good medium plus body on this. Yeah, just those real nice, complex, roasted, toasty notes that you get, you know, from the specialty grains, not so much the two-roll. That kind of gives you the base layer of a biscuity kind of thing, you know, toasted bread. But the Scotch ale starts to get more in again to the caramel and toffee, and we kind of get into that with this. At 7.6, I don't necessarily get a burn going down, but the alcohol is noticeable. It's there. This thing's got a little heft to it. It's still fairly drinkable. I think this is the only thing I wish I could nail that carbonation more. And again, maybe that's something I can do a video on in the future. One way around that is if you keg. Now, at the 1 gallon size, I'm not kegging 1 gallon. But if you do 5 gallon batches in a keg, that kind of makes executing carbonation a little bit easier. But overall, I really liked how it turned out. We'll go in for one more sip. Yeah, it turned out nice. All right, let's get on to the our last one, and that is, I call it poor man's ice wine. Is my kind of take on it, and what the concept is. If you've never had ice wine, they will grow a standard vineyard, but instead of picking the grapes, you know, at the end of the season, they'll let them stay on until the first hard freeze comes in, a real hard freeze comes in. And then they'll come in and they'll pick those grapes early in the morning when they're still frozen on the vine. They'll come in, take them in and press them. And most of that juice is frozen, or a lot of the juice is frozen. And what they squeeze out is just really concentrated. It's just filled with that sugar, and it is a more intense, sweeter style wine. It's also more expensive because they get less of a yield. Well, here in Las Vegas, we're not going to have any freezes, hard freezes anytime soon. So I thought I would do, instead of freezing to extract that water, I would boil. And so what I basically did was took 2 gallons of standard Concord grape juice and boiled it down to 1 gallon. And we actually did bump up our ABV, or our original gravity, quite a bit. I think on a standard container of Concord grape juice you find at the store, original gravity is around 1060-ish, depending on the brand. We, after our boil, got to 1.120, so fairly high. Final gravity, we didn't get quite as low as hoping, 1030. That means we still should have some sweetness left in that. It shouldn't just be dry. But we ended up at 11.8% ABV, so that pretty good ABV there. I did not try to carbonate, so there's no carbonation in this. Let's give this a try. Nice, dark, deep color. Let's go in for the nose. Plenty of sweetness on the nose. Does give me characteristics of the smells a lot like, you know, some of the lower end like Lambrusco, and if you've ever had something like Manischewitz or whatever, those style of wines made with Concord grapes, it's a different nose on them, and This is very Concord grape, but I don't get any yeast funk or anything like that off of that. Let's go ahead and dive in. That's grape. That is really a dense, thicker Concord grape juice that just happens to have almost 12% alcohol by volume, but very actually, that's not bad. It is a little sweet for me compared. If you're used to drinking like a Cab, you know, Malbecs, stuff like that, a little more reds with a little more character, certain Pinot Noirs, whatever, then this is going to be a little too sweet, a little too simple for you. With that being said, if you enjoy, you know, either bargain wines, if you enjoy sweeter things like port, you know, if you grew up drinking Riuniti, the Lambrusco, or again, a Manischewitz, this stuff ain't bad. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not bad at all. It's a table wine. This is not something you're going to enjoy in a fine meal, but actually that did not turn out too bad. You'll be surprised at the quality of wine you can make out of Concord grape juice. I guess that's where I'm going with that. Well, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas for videos, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Until next time, bottoms up.